Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I want to talk about some of the witchy books that I have collected over time. So I have quite a collection here of witchy books. I have some cozy mystery witchy books, I have some small town witchy books, I have some romance witchy books, I have a few dark academia witchy books, and I also have a horror and a few graphic novels as well. As you will find out, I've accumulated quite a witchy collection, 20 books to be exact, and I would love to share these with you. So I'm going to start off with some of the romance witchy books. Now, some of these are in your face, very romantic books, and then some of them have a little subplot of romance in there as well, but mystery. Keep in mind though, I've literally only read one of these books, and I own 19 of them, and I've only read one, okay? But these are the books that have caught my eye throughout the years, and these are the books that I'm interested the most when it comes to reading witchy themed books. First book I want to talk about is the X Hex by Erin Sterling. I'm sure a lot of you guys have read this book. This book is such a cozy, comforting, witchy romance. It literally takes place in a town that's equivalent to Halloween Town, if you've seen that movie. And this story follows Vivian, who has just been basically dumped, is going through a breakup. As she's relaxing in her bathtub, she decides to put a curse on her ex-boyfriend using a Bath and Body Works candle. Unfortunately, the curse goes back to the town, and it's her trying to basically reverse it, stop it from creating chaos. So this book I gave a 5-star. It was such a great book. I highly recommend it. It gives you all of the witchy, cozy vibes. It's literally set in Halloween Town. It's just perfect. The second book I want to talk about, which I only got a little bit further in, but I ran out of time because I am a mood reader, is the second book to this series, and that is The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I believe this one's about her cousin Gwen, who owns a very successful witchcraft shop, and across the street from her, Wells Penhallow happens to open up his own shop. This is an enemies to lovers, maybe possibly them competing which shop is better. I don't know. I just know that I can't wait to read more of it. I was just not in the mood when I picked it up. I only read 50 pages, but I know I'm gonna love it just as much. I've actually heard this one is people's favorites compared to the X Hex. Next book on the list is Not a Witch You Wed by April Asher, and I think this is a witch and a werewolf romance, so already that alone gets me intrigued. A wickedly delicious brew of juicy conflict, sizzling chemistry, and witty one-liners. I can't wait to read it. I'm excited. And also, the titles of the chapters are really cute. It's like a cute little tagline. Like chapter 4 says kibble and yips. I mean, that's cute. Let's see. Chapter 9 says whiskers and kittens. I think this is going to be a fun time. It says magic never made love any easier. If you like laughing out loud, scorching chemistry, and falling in love, pick up this book now. Magicless witch Violet Maxwell wants nothing to do with alpha wolf shifter Lincoln Thorne, the man who broke her fragile teenage heart. But when the two of them are forced by arcane supernatural laws to find mates, Violet and Lincoln agree to fake date their way to a fake mating in order to conjure themselves some time. That's really all I need to know. This one sounds like it's going to be a fun time. The next two books are part of a series, and that is Magic Lessons, Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I've seen the Practical Magic movie starring Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, and I absolutely loved it. And I've heard that the books are 10 times better. I've heard also that you can read them out of order, or you can read them in the order that they've been published. I currently just own 2 in the series. I believe I need to read the Magic Lessons first and then go on to Practical Magic. This one is a prequel to Practical Magic, and it says, for centuries the women of the Owens family have been cursed. Any man who loves an Owens woman will die. It begins with a baby abandoned in a snowy English field in the 1600s. Gentle Hannah Owens takes the baby in, and as the child grows, Hannah teaches little Maria about the unnamed arts. Maria has a gift for them, a gift that may well prove her undoing. When Maria is abandoned by the man she loves, she invokes the curse that will haunt her family for centuries, because magic has rules and they must be obeyed. This one follows Jillian and Sally in the story. This one was what the movie was based off of. I can't wait to read these. I know it's just going to be a magical time for me, so I'm excited. Next up, I have a book that I think was adapted into a show or a movie on Netflix, I believe. I've been wanting to read this for so long because it's a fantasy, dark academic, witchy book, and that is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I heard such great things about this. This is basically described as the adult version of Twilight, but make it witchy and academic. So that right there already intrigues me. The irresistible tale of wizardry, science, and forbidden love. Deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, Diana Bishop, a young scholar and the descendant of witches, unearths an enchanted alchemical manuscript. Wanting nothing to do with sorcery, she banishes the book to the stacks. Her discovery has set a fantastical underworld stirring, and soon a horde of demons, witches, and other creatures descends upon the library. Among them is the enigmatic Matthew Claremont, a vampire with a keen interest in the book. Equal parts history and magic, romance and suspense. A Discovery of Witches is a mesmerizing and addictive tale of passion and obsession that reveals the closely guarded secrets of an enchanted world. I mean, come on. Doesn't that sound so good? That just sounds so interesting. It's got a little bit of everything. It happens in the library. It's got a vampire. It's got a witch. Like, I can't wait to read this. The next book I want to talk about is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Tordes. I've heard really great things about this one. All I know is literally the blurb in the back. In this spell-bending debut novel, two estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection. A tale of familial loyalty, betrayal, and the pursuit of magic and power. That's all I really need to know about this book. I can't wait to read it. It also takes place in the family's library that has magical books. Moving on to some cozy witchy books. Some of these are set in a small town. Well, probably most of these are set in a small town, but I have a few for you. The first one is In the Company of Witches by Aurora Lee Wallace, and I've heard nothing but great things. This is a cozy mystery about a woman who owns a B&B and somebody ends up dead in her bed and breakfast. When a guest dies in the B&B she helps her aunts run, a young witch must rely on some good old-fashioned investigating to clear her aunt's name in this magical and charming new cozy mystery. If you're gonna read a cozy mystery and you're into witchy themes, I've heard that this is one of the best ones out there. This book is comforting, cozy. Obviously, it's a mystery. It's got witches in it, and also people have described that they've cried, they've laughed, they've had such a great time reading this book. So I can't wait to experience the same things. I'm so excited. The next one is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I've heard nothing but great things about this. All I know about this one is that I think every year a baby is sacrificed to the gods, except for one year the witch decides to keep the baby, something like that. It says, there is magic in starlight, of course, this is well known. Moonlight, however, that is a different story. Moonlight is magic, ask anyone you like. Every year the people of the protectorate leave a baby as an offering to the witch who lives in the forest to keep her from terrorizing their town. But the witch, Zan, is really kind and gentle. She shares her home with a wise swamp monster and a perfectly tiny dragon. Zan rescues the children and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest. One year, Zan accidentally feeds a baby Moonlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. Zan decides she must raise this girl, whom she calls Luna, as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with unpredictable consequences. Just when it's time for Zan to go collect another child. Meanwhile, a young man is determined to free his people by killing the witch, and a volcano dormant for centuries rumbles within the earth. I mean, that sounds so good. She's a witch, people think she's evil. Every year they sacrifice a baby so that she can stop terrorizing the town, but little do they know she actually helps those babies find homes and decides to keep the last one, adopt the last one. There's also a cute little dragon in there. I'm so excited to read this. The next book is a small town, maybe cozy witchy book, and that is Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck, a diverse coven of witches and enchanted history in an absolute delight of a magical tale. Emerson Wilde has built the life of her dreams, youngest Chamber of Commerce president in St. Cipher in history, successful indie bookstore owner, and lucky enough to have a best friend as found family done. Bookstore owner? I can't wait to read that. That's exciting. But when Emerson is attacked by creatures that shouldn't be real and kills them with what can only be called magic, Emerson finds that the past decade of her life has been a lie. St. Cyphrin isn't your average Midwestern river town. It's a haven for witches. When Emerson failed a power test years ago, she was stripped of her magical memories. Turns out Emerson's friends are all witches, and so is she. That's all I'm gonna read. I'm so excited. It's got the small town vibes. It's witchy. It sounds like she's discovering her magic that she forgot she had. And she's a bookstore owner. The next one, I believe, takes place in an academic institute, and that is The Witch Haven by Sasha Payton Smith. Haven Academy. Rules for young witches. 1. Mind your instructions. 2. No unsupervised spell work. 3. Don't leave after dark. In 1911, New York City, 17-year-old Frances Hollowell spends her days as a seamstress mourning the mysterious death of her brother months prior. Everything changes when she's attacked and a man ends up dead at her feet, her scissors in his neck, and she can't explain how they got there. Before she can be condemned as a murderess, 2 cape-wearing nurses arrive to inform her she is deathly ill in order to report to Haven Sanitarium. But Frances finds Haven isn't a sanitarium at all. It's a school for witches. Within Haven's glittering walls, Frances finds the sisterhood she craves, but the head mistress warns Frances that magic is dangerous. Frances has no interest in the small, safe magic of her school and is instead enchanted by Finn, a boy with magic himself who appears in her dreams and tells her he can teach her all she's been craving to learn, lessons that may bring her closer to discovering what truly happened to her brother. Frances's newfound power attracts the attention of the leader of an ancient order who yearns for magical control of Manhattan and who will stop at nothing to have Frances by his side. Frances must ultimately choose what matters more, justice for her murdered brother and her growing feelings for Finn, or the safety of her city and fellow witches. What price would she pay for power? And what if the truth is more terrible than ever imagined? That's very intriguing. The next one is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw, and this one sounds a little bit creepier. This one sounds very interesting. The little blurb says, Hocus Pocus and practical magic meets the Salem witch trials in this haunting story about 3 sisters on a quest for revenge and how love may be the only thing powerful enough to stop them. That is all I want to know about this book. I just want to go in it knowing not a lot about it and just be fully immersed in it. The next 2 books are part of a series, and I believe there's 3 books in the series, but I've only collected 2 so far because I've heard mixed reviews. And this one I believe is a YA, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a YA and it's about a witch and a witch hunter. I might be wrong. And that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I have the first one and the second one. So I have Kingdom of the Wicked and I have Kingdom of the Cursed. 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. Amelia and her twin sister, Victoria, are strength witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and prosecution. One night, Victoria misses dinner service at the family's Rione restaurant in Sicily. Amelia soon finds the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Amelia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. Then Amelia meets Wrath, one of the wicked who are princes of hell she has been warned against in tales since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving a series of women's murders on the island. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. I can't wait to read this, guys. I'm excited. The next one is my only witchy horror book. Now, this is considered horror, but I've heard that this author puts kind of like a funny twist to it, so it's comical at times, and it doesn't seem very scary. But nonetheless, I'm excited to read it, and that is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This one is about a girl who moves away to a small town after her heartbreak, and she soon meets a very charming and beautiful woman that she is so intrigued to get to know and become friends with. However, this woman might be too good to be true. She might be a witch. Darkly funny, frightening novel about a young woman meeting a witch who might be too good to be true. All her life, Annie has played it nice and safe. After being unceremoniously dumped by her longtime boyfriend, she seeks a fresh start. Annie accepts a new teaching position and moves to a small village upstate. She's stunned by how perfect and picturesque the town is. The people are all friendly and warm. Her new apartment is dreamy too, aside from the oddly persistent spider infestation. Then Annie meets Sophie. Beautiful, charming, magnetic Sophie, who takes a special interest in Annie and wants to be her friend. More importantly, she wants Annie to stop apologizing and start living for herself. That's how she lives. Annie can't help but gravitate toward the self-possessed Sophie and begins to spend more and more time with her, despite the fact that the rest of the townsfolk seem a little afraid of her. And like, okay, there are some things. Sophie's appearance is uncunning and and ageless. Her mansion in the middle of the woods feels a bit unearthly, and she does seem to wield a certain power, but she couldn't be, could she? I can't wait to read this one. So I almost forgot to add this one to my list. I think this one has witches in it, dark magic in it, and that is The Famous Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I started this book last year. It's when I was getting into fantasy, and I read up to page 42 and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the world building. The descriptions of the academic school itself were just too much for me to picture in my head. So I gave up on it. I put it down for that time, but now I want to pick it back up because I've heard nothing but great things. And it is a dark academic. It has witchcraft, dark magic in it. It has ghosts and paranormal elements. And even the first chapter had me glued. There was like a grotesque, gruesome scene that I remember. So I definitely want to give this another shot. Galaxy Alex Stern is the most unlikely member of Yale's freshman class. Raised in the Los Angeles hinterlands by a hippie mom, Alex dropped out of school early and into a world of shady drug dealing boyfriends, dead-end jobs, and much, much worse. In fact, by age 20, she is a sole survivor of a horrific unsolved multiple homicide. She might say she's thrown her life away, but at her hospital bed, Alex is offered a second chance to attend the world's most prestigious universities on a full ride. What's the catch and why her? Still searching for answers, Alex arrives in New Haven, tasked by her mysterious benefactors with monitoring the activities of Yale's secret societies. Their 8 windowless tombs are the well-known haunts of the rich and powerful, from high-ranking politics to Wall Street's biggest players. But their occult activities are more sinister and more extraordinary than any paranoid imagination might conceive. They tamper with forbidden magic. They raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. I think this year will be the year that I read it, and I think now I'm ready to be immersed into such a descriptive world with such great detail. The last 4 books are witchy graphic novels. They're cozy, they're comforting. I have a dark academia one, and I have some funny ones, and I have some cozy ones. The first one I want to talk about is Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. This is such a cute, beautiful autumnal graphic novel that everybody should be reading this fall. Just look at the illustrations and look at the colors. It's so beautiful. And this one is about a cute little vegetable character named Garlic who lives in this vegetable garden created by this witch. And she's actually very afraid. She's very timid. She likes to tend to the garden, and that is her one job, and she loves to do it. She doesn't want to do anything else. However, the vegetable townspeople notice that somebody moves into this castle up in the hills in the forest, and they suspect their new neighbor to be a vampire. Who better to ask to go investigate and find out if he is a blood-sucking vampire? The best person for this would be no other than Garlic herself. Garlic, though, is very timid and she is a very scared character. The story follows her, and that's all I'm gonna say. It was such a good book. Me and Charlie read it last year during October, and it was so fun. I love this book so much that I wanted to buy the second part of the series, and that is Garlic and the Witch. I have no idea what this one's about, but it also follows a cute little Garlic character. I can't read you the back of this because this gives away a lot of things that happens in the first book, so just know that this one is the second book in this little mini series. Just look at the beautiful illustrations and just the colors of this. I love it so much. So I highly recommend. I read the first one. I loved it. I know the second one's going to be no different. The next graphic novel would be Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escobarsi. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm so sorry. This one is about a little girl who moves in with her 2 aunts in Brooklyn, and she suspects that her aunts act very funny. Do these weird things. They act funny. Things are happening. I think that's what the book is about. Her and her 2 aunts, and her trying to discover if her 2 aunts are witches. Effie's aunts are weird, like really weird, really weird. Does that mean they could be magic? Does that mean she could be magic? Life is about to get much more interesting. Look at her aunts. How cute do her aunts look? Just cute little older ladies. But something's off with them, right? They could be witches. Anyways, I've heard nothing but great things, and the illustrations, again, are just fun. Just fun. It's a fun little graphic novel that I want to get to this year with Charlie because she enjoyed Garlic and the Vampires, so I know that we'll enjoy this one as well. And the last book on this witchy collection of mine is going to be Over My Dead Body by Sweeney Boo, and this one I should have bought the actual hardback of this because it's just so beautiful. I mean, look at this. Look how beautiful the illustrations of this book are. All I know about this is that it's dark academia graphic novel about a girl who goes missing and the main character trying to solve the mystery, I think. Magical, mysterious, and addictive. Witches and dark academia meet on every breathtaking page. After school year begins at the Yon Witty Hidden Institute of Witchcraft, and Abigail knows that this is the year she needs to buckle down, grow up, and start taking her studies seriously. But everything is thrown off course when her mentee Noreen goes missing. Abby's classmates are quick to put Noreen's disappearance behind them. The coven will find her, they say. They have it under control, but Abby can't let go, and her search for answers leads her down a rabbit hole that uncovers more secrets than she can handle. As the mounting evidence steers her toward the untamed woods that surround the institute, Abby begins to see that Noreen's disappearance has a lot in common with the story of another girl who went missing all those years ago. Ooh, so it's like witchy, it's dark, it's got beautiful illustrations. So let me know if you guys have read any of these books, if you've loved a specific one, or if you think of putting any of these on your list. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!